welcome to Ben's Beer Reviews, where I try to continue to do this for whatever reason, mainly because I find it amusing.
To justify your drinking habit.
Yes, that is exactly the reason
Probably why
I do it.
So,
I might start calling myself the Sober Arlingtonian, which is the fucking swore. Try not to swear in these. It's like
you're doing a bad
I'm doing
job.
a terrible job. Well, yesterday was awful without on that front, but cool. Today with me is Josh, who, I mean, everyone on this page right now is my friend, basically. So that's 4 people. There are 4 people I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Good job on them for being total strangers.
Yeah, so for the 4 of you, I'm his brother. We're twins. What up?
Oh, word.
And I also like beer.
It's very exciting.
I was sitting at home and he asked me if I wanted to do this. So I was like, sure.
Sure. I mean, it's
So
basically
I am drinking, which is not a big change of form.
No. Basically it's a good time. Okay. So yesterday was a fun but kind of plain beer. What
did you do yesterday? Was that the Fuller's?
Headwater Pale Ale.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it was just fun.
It's a solid.
It's solid.
Solid hoppy pale.
Yeah. Today we're going to be doing something entirely different. This is Sucaba. For some reason it has this bizarre letter in it, symbol, by Firetone Walker from the Proprietor's Reserve series. It's a British barley wine that's been aged in whiskey casks. It comes in this dope cardboard box, which I find...
This cardboard's really exciting.
Cardboard is really exciting. Okay, guys, I
it.
find this box quite handsome, and I think it's just very exciting that it has that. Alright, so it has a few facts about the beer here. It's 42 IBUs. Yeah. IBUs, for those of you who don't know, are international bitterness units. They obviously tell you how bitter and how hoppy the beer is. So, for a beer this big, that's very, very low. British-style barley wines are pretty low ABV hopped. And this is now 2 years old. This is the 2012 vintage of it. So, hops have, I've been told, a half-life of about a year. So right now this is basically 11, 10 IBU tasting, but it'll be smoother. We've had this actual vintage before, but it was very young. It wasn't aged at all. So let's get into
Many moons ago,
we had this beer. Cool. Alright, so we're using awesome Sambuca snifters because they're $1 each. And if you can have something for cheap, you might as well. Okay, so...
It's a nice dark looking barley wine.
Yeah.
Watch him pour.
It's very exciting.
Super
Watch me pour.
excited.
Alright, so right away on the appearance of this thing, it is basically a dark brown. It has some ruby-ish notes to it.
It's
almost
got some
like maroon in parts.
red in it.
But it's brown. It has very tight bubbles on the side. It has a very, very thin, filmy head with some tight bubbles. But yeah, it's a pretty good looking beer.
It dissipates very quickly.
Very quickly. It is 12.5% alcohol, so it's not going to stick around. On the nose,
it smells kind of boozy.
you get a lot of whiskey barrel, certainly. A lot of fusel notes. Definitely some malt backbone. A deep kind of brown sugar, almost.
Sort of molassesy.
Yeah.
Just sniffing beer.
Almost a kind of copper tinge. And that's a weird thing to say. But some beers remind me of copper. Specifically, a few, like Ommegang
Don't you dare say
Abbey
copper
Ale.
ales.
No, I was saying copper ales. Yeah, just a lot of malt sweetness, a lot of brown sugar, molasses, whiskey, vanilla,
Yeah, there's a good amount of vanilla.
toasted coconut.
I can smell that. Yeah. Guess
All
who's
right.
driving the boat on this one?
Yeah. Oh, whatever. Fuck it. I'm
Cheers.
soaring again. That's lovely. Okay.
God damn it.
All right. On the flavor, a lot of sweetness up front.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting just from the smell of it.
Yeah.
It's very, again, a lot of kind of molasses, very, very dark malt notes. Let's see.
A bit of like. There's certainly like alcoholic heat in this beer. Back of the throat.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a burn.
Which I mean, it's a heavy beer.
It's a very heavy beer. I wasn't expecting that much burn after 2 years of aging. But yeah,
it just tastes a lot. Like,
yeah.
It's a very full flavored. I mean,
medium full mouthfeel on this. It does have a certain heft to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's not nearly up where.
It's not like Old Rasputin.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not nearly as heavy in the mouth, whatever the term would be. I don't know. I don't do this shit.
Whatever.
Oh no, I swore.
Oh no! Children will never see these reviews.
Kids don't
Damn
drink
it.
anyway. You shouldn't be watching beer reviews.
That is
Stop
true.
swearing. You're corrupting the
Children
youth who should not be
don't
watching
drink.
this. Apparently, yeah, it's
Go
terrible.
look at cat videos.
Yeah.
Don't look at this.
Apparently, we need to do disclaimers for beer reviews.
For children. Go away.
Yeah. So it doesn't have nearly as much like a, I don't want to say cloying, but like a lot of Russian Imperial stouts and stuff will cover your mouth entirely.
They're very viscous.
Yeah. Slightly less viscous, lower viscosity. But it definitely, it lingers on your palate for a little while.
Lot of toasted coconut on the finish, especially. It kind of stays there for a while.
Yeah. On the finish, definitely. Not as much of like a kind of dark fruit as I.
No. I would have assumed that there'd be more. There's some definitely. But the kind of flavors I get from aging, like the really dark fruit, kind of winter fruit stuff, figs, that I got especially with my first review with the Scotch Ale. I don't get into this at all. It's like super flavorful. It's like an assault on your palate, pretty much. Not like a hoppy, like really aggressive assault, but like you kind of feel drowned in flavor, I guess.
Yeah, the box on this guy said chocolate, charred oak, and coffee are just some of the complex aromas and flavors you will find in this beer. I honestly am not really picking up on any of those.
I get a bit of chocolate.
I can see some of the chocolate. But
Coffee, no.
Coffee, no. Maybe some oakiness to it. That's just part of it having been aged in barrels. Yeah. If that wasn't there, then it wouldn't. Like, I'd be very surprised. But it's not as kind of oaky flavored as even like the oaked arrogant bastard.
No, I mean it does have a similar in its oak quality. It has a similar flavor to you haven't had this yet, but the barrel aged framing hammer.
Okay.
Also has that kind of note in it, which is good. I like it. So yeah.
Yeah.
It could, I think, use a few more years yet of aging. I think if it just kind of I like that it's flavor very, very full. It has a lot of life, this beer. Which is a weird thing to say about a beer, but it does. But I think it would kind of tone down a bit more.
Yeah.
It would be even better.
Again, it tastes. I don't want to say it tastes boozy, but you can definitely tell that
Yeah.
the alcohol
No,
content is high.
Yeah.
Actually, this may sound weird, but of the barley wines that I have had, this tastes more wine-like than most of them.
Okay. Definitely.
Kind of. I mean, this is me just showing my inexperience with wine, but not. Like, yes, there are complexities to the flavor, but what you like, it stays the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's good.
You do get
Enjoying it so far.
You do get like a certain on the side of the mouth, like kind of the back molars. This is really specific. You do get a certain toffee flavor, and it feels like it lingers there, especially long, which is a very weird place for it to be, kind of.
Now I feel like I need to start licking my back molars.
No, I haven't looked at it. I just kind of while you're speaking, I was like, oh, my back molars are doing something. That's not usual. It's not bad, but it's not. But yeah, I mean, it finishes like in the back of the throat. Hello and welcome back. My camera ran, and by camera I mean iPhone, because I'm not using my webcam anymore, because it sucked. It was the worst. It ran out of memory, so it gloriously just stopped recording. So we're gonna splice these together. Yeah. So things we didn't mention before. We found a lot of toffee, caramel. Certain like not quite a butterscotch. Like it's a darker caramel on top than that. I don't know if that's bottle conditioned. I wouldn't be surprised, based for the style. But
Okay, whatever.
But I don't think the brewery really does that. So rating. You would give this out of 100? What would you give it?
Probably a very, very solid 92, and it's a fantastic beer, basically without qualification. Just, I tend not to gravitate towards the style. I'm a lot more of a hop head. I don't really have much of a palate for it, so I can't really speak to it. But it, again, fantastic beer. I feel like I'm cheating it by giving a 92, but I don't know what a 100 would be in this style.
I'm also gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 93, not a 92. I also feel like I'm cheating it. If you won't see this vintage of this beer. I think there were 3 bottles in like the office of the liquor store I went to for this in Winchester. They just kind of told me that I was like, oh, that's cool, and I bought it. But if you see it and you're interested in the style, I would buy it, but put it like in a closet, cellar it in like a dark, cool place for a few years, get more experience drinking beer, come back to it. It's a very rewarding beer, it's a very complex beer, but it's also kind of challenging. Yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of Ben's Beer Reviews. I'm Ben.
I'm Josh.
That was exciting, and this is Mike's Super Short Show.
Now you know this
Mike's Super Short Show.